you for your patience. I think we're going to get going. So it's 2:30 now, and welcome to this session. And we're going to try and give you a little bit of a deeper dive on this exciting topic of generative AI. We're going to try and make it interactive as well. And we've also got quite a good deck. So if you could, just get your mobile phones out and register, and you also get the deck. And I'll ask you to take your phones out a little bit later as well, because we're going to do some polls just to get people's points of view as well. So my name's Hugh Terry from the Digital Insurer. I'm the CEO and founder of TDI, as we call ourselves. And I'll introduce our business very, very shortly. But my background, I've been in the insurance industry for 30 odd years, actually by profession, from the UK originally, and I've lived in Singapore for about 25 years. So I worked in the insurance industry, and I now worked alongside the insurance industry in a number of different startups as well. And with me today, and our expert on generative AI is Yannick Evan. I'll let Yannick introduce himself.
Well, thanks for joining. I'm based in Switzerland. I was working for Swiss Re until December, and then I joined the Digital Insurer team. We've created amazing and unique generative AI upskilling program for the insurer professional that we will be speaking in detail at the end of the session. And a lot of the content that you will see today are extracted from the 15 hours of content that we have created for this program, which include use case, which include prompt, and a lot of tangible illustration on how generative AI technology is used today already by the insurance industry worldwide. At Swiss Re, I was leading the data science team, and I worked a lot on responsible AI, on adoption of AI across the value chain of insurance for Swiss Re and all our clients, and worked the last year on generative AI. So I brought all this knowledge, supported by the team of TDI and our partner Microsoft, to build this program that we will show you a bit later.
Thank you, Yannick.
And I'm French, as you can hear, so you will have to bear with the French accent for a while.
Which is a lovely accent. Now, I'm just going to play this. Fastest hand up to tell me how this was created. I'm sure you know. No sound on this video, but it's only about 17 seconds long. Nice video, right? Tokyo, perhaps. Spring, but there's snow on the ground. So how was that created? Exactly. So it was Sora, right? And it was created 2 or 3 months ago when Sora was kind of released on a beta basis. And that was the prompt that created that video. And the reason I wanted to play that first is just to say that's the worst that technology is ever going to be, right? And we're at the start of something that is growing very, very exponentially. And this is why generative AI is a very, very important topic. And over the next few years, I think we're going to see very large changes in society and knock-on effects, obviously, in the way that we organize the insurance industry. So we're all here today to talk about generative AI. And what we're aiming to do today is kind of give you some insights on generative AI, what the potential is, what the approach is, do some knowledge sharing through polls. Please just ask questions as we go along as well. And then, as Yannick said, give you a little bit of info on the TDI Academy and the Gen AI Explorer program at the end. So that's our goal, very approximate running order for the 90 minutes. We do have a tendency to get a little bit excited and take too much time, but we'll make sure that we finish on time as needed as well. So just going to play, sorry, let me go back and start that again. Sorry, just give you a little bit of background on TDI, which is our business. And we've been in business for 12 years, and we're all about sharing knowledge and information on the impact of technology on the insurance industry. And this 60-second video will give you a kind of a view of that. So do check out our website. We're all about how we can help you and your companies transform digitally. And this kind of view, I don't want to spend a lot of time on, just summarizes our business model. You can see in pink a lot of content and resources on our website available for free. You can just sign up, we'll send you information. We do webinars, we do awards, all of those things to benefit the industry. We have in the middle the TDI Academy. That's how we actually earn our revenue to keep going. So we look for the support of the industry in that area as well. We have some memberships for technology companies and insurers. In terms of just the QR code, we'll flash this up occasionally. So if you do want to get the deck, it's on there as well. And we're going to do some polls. And let's just get to know each other a little bit here. So can you get your mobile phones out? This is the polls that we're going to run through here. And I hand this over to you, Yannick, to talk us through these questions, right?
So you still have the QR code there if you didn't have time to scan it. The first question we're asking is to get to know the audience. So are you working today for an insurer, or are you coming more from the tech or consulting or the... Yeah, come back to the QR code again.
Oh, if you miss the QR code, you can do...
You can go on menti.com and type this code, 52363823, menti.com. Okay, so we have about 13 votes. I think we're a bit more than that in the room, but it's representative. So half of you are insurer and 1/3 tech and 20% consulting. Good.
And someone's found the...
Yes.
Well done.
Please continue with thumbs up for us. Now, the next question. Oh, some other.
Okay. Very good.
I didn't know myself what to reply because I'm actually a bit of both, of everything.
There you go. I think tech's making a comeback here.
Yes.
Slower than not. We're going to have a few polls today, so just...
Yeah, I think we have about 4 or 5 polls, so keep your mobile. That's, I think, one of the only time a presenter will say, keep your mobile in your hand, but don't watch it.
So let's see which function...
Next question, which function most closely match your current area of focus? This will help us as well to illustrate some of the use case a bit later today. Okay, very well spread all across. Journal management, transformation, IT, distribution, and a lot of other. What's other? I guess maybe operation, claims maybe. Or customer, yeah. Not distribution is
operations.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for sharing. So we're back to the presentation. Back to you.
Thank you, Yannick. And what we're going to try and explore today really is this question of how can generative AI accelerate the digital transformation of the insurance industry? We're all on a journey together, right? It takes a long time to transform insurance for good reasons. We're quite conservative, right? We're highly regulated. Things take time. But generative AI has come along and it's providing us, I think, with new tools and methodologies that may actually help us to move a little bit further, a little bit faster than we've been able to before. And if you think about it, and just to sort of introduce the broader topic of digital transformation, at events like this, it's sometimes worth just stepping back a little bit from your day-to-day job and actually reflecting on where we've come from a societal perspective. And we like to talk about, and Schwab from the World Economic Forum talks about us being in the 4th industrial revolution. And he coined this term, actually I think it was back in about 2015. And it's about this merging of us, humans, with technology. And generative AI actually is a really, really good example of where all of a sudden, previously we had our smartphones in our pockets, really powerful supercomputers, and that can do lots of things. Now we've got an interface that actually is going to allow us to extract from technology a lot more than we've been able to do before. And for me, generative AI is all about this fourth industrial revolution. Now, why are we transforming? This slide I could talk for hours on, but I just wanted to give you again that backdrop of why really we have no choice in terms of a transformation journey, and why there are very powerful trends underway that are actually doing this. So customer adoption of technology, tons and tons of technology available, allowing us to either innovate in terms of the value chain or to create new digital business models. Both of those we've seen tons of over the last few years. We're seeing a new distribution landscape. Embedded insurance, of course, has come through. We're seeing the transformation of face-to-face to one that's actually digitally enabled as well. Really, really interesting space. We're seeing a change in proposition of actually the fundamental nature of what we do. So we're all proud in this industry of paying claims. But you know what? The honest customer doesn't want to make a claim in the first place, do they? The honest customer actually wants to avoid and mitigate risk. And technology is allowing us to do that with our customers, to help customers not only to get paid when they have a valid claim, but also to avoid those risks and mitigate those risks. And that's a really profound statement if you think about why we're here. There's a changing proposition that digital is speeding up. And last but not least, of course, is a reminder that the customer at the end of the day is king. And perhaps sometimes the industry, we've kind of forgotten that a little bit, but also importantly, the role of ecosystems in that. So increasingly, customers are online, they're doing things online, but they're not necessarily doing it with the insurance companies. So we have to either build ecosystems to attract customers, or we have to use other ecosystems as well. That sounds new, but in some respects it's not new, right? We've been doing bank assurance for years, and that's a classic ecosystem, right? Where we can sell insurance within a banking type environment. So that's kind of why the bigger picture of why we're also so excited about the impact of technology. And then we can now layer on top of this newish technology that's coming in and explore what we can do that perhaps we weren't able to do before so easily. So, generative AI, and I expect you've all seen charts a little bit like this, the very fast adoption of generative AI. And it's not surprising because individual users can see massive utility and value from this technology. So that's why the adoption is occurring again. You see that adoption outside of insurance, and it's only a question of time before that comes to the insurance industry as well. And this is a long list, but it just shows you at the moment that sort of, and we saw it in the presentations earlier, right? Everyone is adding AI into their Insurtech pitches. All the CEOs are adding generative AI into their analyst calls as well. Some of that is paper dressing, but actually it's there for a reason. And most insurers are taking this quite seriously in terms of understanding the impact and moving ahead as well. So we like to think of the impact of generative. That's interesting. There is a grey circle around that, but not showing on this one. We like to think of generative AI in terms of two areas of impact. And this comes back to how we've actually designed our program. And two facts. Fact number one, people with generative AI skills are going to advance their careers faster than those that don't. Fact number two, insurers that use generative AI will perform better than those that don't. So we believe those facts. Maybe you don't believe them, but we do believe them, and we could validate them. But for us, exploring both of these areas is really important. Now, we're seeing quite a lot of focus on this area of insurers' use cases, but perhaps not enough focus on this one up here, which is about ourselves individually. How can we use the technology to improve our own effectiveness as well? And this is a massive opportunity, and we'll explore both of these today. And actually, there's some really interesting data, and this is from Microsoft, from a survey from last year, and they have updated it recently, but the stats are about the same. There's a paradox. 49% of people, half of us, are actually worried that AI is going to replace our jobs. But 70% of us actually say I wouldn't mind delegating quite a lot of my work to AI as well to help improve. So there's concern and there's opportunity. And in this type of environment, that's why you need to actually get people engaged in this, to understand this and work it through as well. With all industrial revolutions, remember we're in the fourth, you always see some displacement and disruption, and that is inevitable. But usually what we've always seen is a net positive outcome for humankind. And I think that's hopefully where we're going to go on this as well. And I guess one thing, and I'll go back actually just on this slide, because I forgot to mention this image here. For us, philosophically, and we probably won't go into this today, but our philosophical approach to generative AI is to say we want the human to be in front of the technology. So we want the outcome from generative AI to be, if you like, human control of the technology. And we think that's really important from a societal perspective. We think it's really important and critical when you start looking at insurance functions, when you start saying, okay, I want to introduce generative AI into claims, generative AI into underwriting. You still want to have the human in the loop and the human controlling the development and the deployment of this technology as well. So we certainly hope that that is the future. We won't get into things like the singularity and all of those things today. Let's get a practical side of where we are. This is a usable technology. It's not dangerous, and it has a lot of advantages where we are at the moment. Okay. So let me also play just this 3-minute video from Jensen Huang, who's the founder of NVIDIA. I think NVIDIA is presenting in the room next door. So this is the CEO, so this is a secret little extra. But this is a really, really interesting discussion that he actually had earlier in the year here in the Middle East when he was talking about his views. So let's play that.
And it's going to sound completely opposite of what people feel. You probably recall over the course of the last 10 years, 15 years, almost everybody who sits on a stage like this will tell you it is vital that your children learn computer science. Everybody should learn how to program. And in fact, it's almost exactly the opposite. It is our job to create computing technology such that nobody has to program, and that the programming language is human. Everybody in the world is now a programmer. This is the miracle. This is the miracle of artificial intelligence. For the very first time, we have closed the gap. The technology divide has been completely closed. And this is the reason why so many people can engage artificial intelligence. It is the reason why every single government, every single industrial conference, every single company is talking about artificial intelligence today. Because for the very first time, you can imagine everybody in your company being a technologist. And so this is a tremendous time for all of you to realize that the technology divide has been closed. Or another way to say it, the technology leadership of other countries has now been reset. The countries, the people that understand how to solve a domain problem in digital biology or in education of young people or in manufacturing or in farming, those people who understand domain expertise now can utilize technology that is readily available to you. You now have a computer that will do what you tell it to do, to help automate your work, to amplify your productivity, to make you more efficient. And so I think that this is just a tremendous time. The impact, of course, is great, and your imperative to activate and take advantage of the technology is absolutely immediate. And also to realize that to engage AI is a lot easier now than at any time in the history of computing. It is vital that we upskill everyone. And the upskilling process, I believe, will be delightful, surprising it, to realize that this computer can perform all these things that you're instructing it to do, and doing it so easily.
So a nice message there. I mean, I think he is obviously an evangelist and he has a reason for saying these things, but there's some essence of truth in terms of what he's saying about the technology being easier to access than ever before. I still think there's quite a long way to go for all of us to pick up the skills to use generative AI, and it's not quite as easy as perhaps he makes it out, because not everyone has that kind of mindset of adopting technology. And we'll come back to that a little bit later. But I'll hand over now to Yannick, who's going to kind of take us into the next section, really on the Gen AI direction of travel as well. And if you do want the deck, remember, there's the QR code there as well.
Thanks, you. Let me go to the other side. I hope the clicker still works from here.
No guarantees.
So we wanted first to start with the commercial that Microsoft have released during the last Super Bowl final, which actually inspired people to use AI as a day-to-day tool to be smarter, be more productive, and do their task in a better way. Let me play the video.
Morning.
Make me think of my kids. They use ChatGPT every day, every hour for their homework.
Watch me.
And anyone using Copilot? I have Copilot on my laptop. Yeah. How is your experience so far? It's not creating value on day one. Yeah. You need to understand how to prompt it, how to use it. But what I've seen is that after a while, when you really know what it is good for, you cannot switch employers and go to an employer that doesn't give you access to the tool. So there is a statistic actually that shows that 77% of people that use Copilot will not get rid of it. Even if they complain initially, they say, oh, it's useless. But once you start understanding how to use it, then you don't want to give it up. So that shows that there is something. Yeah? Okay. I'm the same. I think we were just discussing before. I would not be able to work for an employer that doesn't give me access to this tool. And I know that originally a lot of corporates just block access to all the large language model until they found out a safe corporate way to do it, which is now the case. So a lot of insurers actually now are starting to deploy large language model, their own corporate GPTs or Copilot in Microsoft or Google Workspace we saw on stage this morning. So how did we get there? It's not new. AI have been existing now for more than 60, 70 years. It started in the 50s with a lot of theory. Then in the 80s, it was used mainly by researchers. In the 2000s, then it started to be used more by corporate. This is at the time where it's become cheaper to use digital paper than paper. So there was a big shift to digital input. And we are now in the era where AI is for individuals. So we all use it on a day-to-day to perform better, to be more efficient, to be more creative. And I believe we are moving into a world where AI will be embedded into everything. It's already in our phone. It will be in our car, in our home, in our offices, in our cities, basically helping us to make decision or automatically making decision with all the data that are collected around us. To basically prevent a risk or to support us when we need to make a decision. So it has been used now for many years by insurers. There is always a delay. The three main, I put it here in summary, enablers to AI, data, and in insurance we have a lot of data, but it's not always very good quality and very siloed. But once you bring all this together, this could be very powerful enabler. Computing power, and cloud providers and the chip manufacturer are doing better and better doubling the computing power of AI training every 3 months, which is amazing, really exponential. And then big progress in algorithm techniques. Large language models are based on a different kind of parallelization of machine learning that have been created in the last 4 or 5 years that are now starting to be the norm. So enabled by all this, insurers are starting to integrate the AI capabilities from 2000 with machine learning. So we saw the first expert system, automated customer agent services, fraud prediction. A lot of insurers are using AI for that. Machine learning, pricing and underwriting. I was working at Swiss Re. This is mainly what my team was working at. And having a better micro-segmentation of your customer. We are moving gradually into era of advanced AI with better model, much more personalized services, the way you interact with the chatbots or the way you operationalize your task, claims and service automation based on that, and then moving into a more embedded, preventative, hyper-personalized, where claims will be purely data-driven in a few years. You don't have to submit any paper, all will be connected. Insurer will connect directly to the hospital or directly to the car garage. All this will connect and claims will be automatically paid as a fraud hopefully will become basically a story of the past.
So Yannick, we have a challenge. So just so everyone knows, so we're going to have to finish by 3:30, which is 35 minutes from now, because there's an Indian ambassador coming a little bit late.
Okay.
And we have to get the protocol correct for that. So we're going to have to
squeeze
our presentation today, but it's okay. We've done this a few times before, so we'll
sure. You have access to the deck anyway,
Yeah.
with the QR code.
So we'll speed up a little bit and we'll skip some of the slides as we go through, and we'll kind of get there on time as well. And we need to leave room for the active Insurtech Association.
Okay. I will do 1 minute message per slide. Why is it important now? Because AI is better than human in a lot of capabilities. And that was not the case only 5 years ago, but now it's the case. It can recognize handwriting, it can recognize an image, speech, reading, much better than a human. And this is why human and machine together are better than human alone or machine alone. And that's the message of the next slide. So I've already covered that. Machine and human together are better than machine alone and human alone. There are a lot of tasks in the world of insurance that will be augmented. It was estimated that every task of an underwriter can be augmented by AI. There is not one single task that cannot. So this will drastically change the way we work on a day-to-day.
Maybe I can just add on that as well, which Yannick usually says is you don't have to wait for generative AI to be better than humans to get value out of it. Because if you've got humans in the loop, you get the insights and then the human makes the decision on what to do. And that's what people are doing, right? So it's not always the case you wait for it to be better. You use it now and then it will get better over time, and you help to get it
Exactly.
as well.
A good example is we've built all the program in English, and to translate in French, we use the machine and then I correct. And even if the machine is not better than me in French yet, I gain a lot of time by doing this. Okay. So this is the latest statistic from Microsoft. It was released last week. So maybe I will just pick a few. 75% of knowledge workers are using it. Even if your corporate don't allow it, they're still using it. Most of the people using GenAI will not tell their boss. And that's really a problem because the boss cannot ask the right question. It doesn't know that this is an output from a machine. So we really need to change the culture and to build an inclusive culture, inclusive for the human and inclusive for the machine, to bring the best together. Yeah. It saves time, better focus. People are more motivated because they can delegate to the machine all the tasks they don't like to do, even if the machine is not better than them, and then review the machine output and make it better and basically provide much better work. So it's no more about bring your own device. This is what we used to say. it's bring your own AI. There is also not one AI. Some people like GPT, some people like Gemini, some people like to work on their mobile, some on their laptop. And the way we work with AI is also different. So that's really important for a line manager to understand all this and find the right way for each of his team member, and to also have AI as your team member to help you do that. Yeah? Maybe I'm a bit too futuristic there. There is clearly a training deficit. Only 39% of people globally who are using AI have received a training. That's not enough. It should be close to 100%. And only 25% are planning to offer training on generative AI this year. This is not enough because most of your staff are using generative AI. You need to train them now, because that's actually now, that is the dangerous period. They are not trained. They are using outside of your corporate. This is guaranteed risk. Bad things will happen. Okay. Wow. Let's pass that. There is a lot of infrastructure to be built, but what is really important is what I put here on the side, having the vision, the value, the risk. Yeah, it doesn't work when I go there. The risk and the adoption. This is usually the one that the insurer should look at, and usually the insurer delegate all the rest to the cloud provider or the IT provider that can actually build all this in a flexible and scalable way. Of course, generative AI comes with its own risk. The media speak a lot about hallucination, but there are now a lot of mitigation techniques that allow you to have a better outcome. Infringements, confidentiality, and that's the problem of people using it on their own device outside of the corporate security. A lot of your IP, a lot of your data, a lot of personal information could be shared there. And once it's in the public ChatGPT, it's public. Forget about it. It's done. It's gone. Malicious use. So us insurer have ethics. We know how to use AI. We know how to use the data. We are very careful. But the bad guys are using it. I'm not sure if you have seen in your inbox, you have more and more very intelligent phishing email that are getting through your security because they use generative AI. They know exactly how to trick the system. And they do it very efficiently. They don't even speak your language. They don't speak Arabic, but you will receive a very nice Arabic email telling you to share that you win 1 million or whatever. And compliance, as a regulator getting into it. So the key to mitigate the risk are to upskill your people from top to bottom, because when they know how to use this tool, it will reduce the risk. To also adopt AI safety, so AI principle, AI governance, manage your data well, manage your model well, and basically work closer with your technological partner. So we summarize here what we need to do, define the vision, what you want to do with AI at a personal and corporate level, scale the value from your data asset Gen AI, upgrade your governance, and upscale yourself and your team. On that, we go to the next poll. We skip the poll? Okay. We skip the poll. And then let's go to the next. I can also do this in 5 minutes, I think. You can find all of this in the deck. I'm sharing with you 3 of my prompts. I have many more. We're about to build actually a prompt library as part of the program that I think we have more than 100 prompts that are insurance specific. But just to show you a bit how I use the tool myself, the first one, I should not go there. Okay, so what I did, I go into QIC website and I say, okay, if I'm a customer and I have a question and I want to call, what should I do? I go on the FAQ. So that's how the FAQ look like. You need at least 3 to 4 clicks in order to reply a question. So it took a while and you cannot really ask a question. You need your question to be already in the list. So it's good, it's visual, but it's not really efficient for me as a customer. So what I did, I just went into ChatGPT And I said, I'm a QIC customer in Qatar. Please reply all my questions using all the information from the FAQ. And I give the URL. That's it. It took me 1 minute. And then I can ask the real question I have, not the one which is in the FAQ. Then I start dialoguing. How do I submit a claim? And it gives me in a very easy way to understand how to do it. And that's true. I check on the FAQ. It's exactly how to do it. Then I said, what paper do I need to submit to get a car coverage? To get this answer on the FAQ, you need at least 5 minutes with the click and find it. Here I have basically all the paper that I need to do before I submit my claim. I'm a safe driver. Will I get a discount? And how do I get it? It's not really explained in the FAQ. It's a bit hidden, but this is correct. If I'm a safe driver, I will have a discount. And basically, in 2 minutes, I can get all my answer without any click, just by telling the machine to take all the answer from the FAQ. You like it? Now the next one, let's make it a bit more complex. So now I told the machine I'm a financial analyst, and I put the QIC annual result, the last year, as a PDF, as an input. So I put the PDF as an input, and I tell here the annual result. Give me a quick summary. I don't want to read it, it's too long. Just give me a summary. And this is the summary. Financial performance with the key numbers, strategic operation highlight, market position. So that's 150 pages, I think. So I have it. You could argue maybe not everything is there, but I found it a quite good summary. Then the next question I ask is based on the detail. I said, yeah, here the same group from the year before, 2022. Then I said, I'm a financial analyst. I give the context. Give me 3 good questions to assess the group strategy that I should ask the CEO and the CFO in my next interview, comparing 2022 with 2023 annual report. And this is basically the question, you see, so it give me 1, 2, oh yeah, this is the same, 3 questions. So I can select 1 or 2. I don't have to ask all to the CEO. But these are actually some pretty good questions on the sustainability, on digital transformation initiative. Can you elaborate? So things that are missing in the report that they already start to discuss in 2022. They're speaking more, but they're missing some detail. And this is quite a clever question to ask the CEO next time you meet.
And you know what the CEO is going to do next time he goes into an interview? He'll use ChatGPT to say, what are the questions?
What question will they ask me? Exactly. So it works both ways. So actually, if you are working in the financial team of QIC, you do this. You simulate what question will financial analyst ask next year or in the coming meeting. Okay, you like it? Yeah? Okay, last one. So generative AI is also not too bad, maybe not the best tool, but it's not too bad in generating data set. So again, I use ChatGPT, but I could use any other large language model. And I don't know anything about Qatar medical claim, but I asked the machine, I wanted to generate a synthetic data set of health claims in Qatar using the data from last year. Just, it could be used to test, for example, to see how far my real data are from it, for example, or things like this. So I told him, create this and explain me how you create. So it gave me all the full how to do, identified common cause of illness, data collection, cost estimation, data set creation. It gave me the field. So if I'm not happy with this field, I could delete some, add some. And at the end, to go fast. Oops. So I said, yeah, this look good, create this with 5,000 record. And then he said, yeah, sure, create this. Then I said, yeah, this is okay. So of course, if it's not good, I can ask him to change. This is okay. Then I said, create a CSV file. It created my file, help, it's in my Excel immediately. It took me 2 minutes. Yeah. So of course, this data is entirely fake, but it told me where did it find. So you can ask which data do you use to make it statistically relevant. So you can always adapt. You can check how it has built. And in a few minutes, you could create a data set that is not too bad, at least for testing. Yeah. Rather than asking your IT team to do it and they will come back 1 month later with something that still have error. Okay. I did it in 5 minutes. Yeah? I hope it's inspired you to go a bit further and not just playing with ChatGPT next time. Try things like this. So I used a few techniques that are well known, like context. So clarify the context, have a very well presented prompt. You can use numbers, you can use bullet points. If you know exactly what you want, you can create a nice prompt that can help you achieve such a powerful output. Okay?
Thank you.
Up to you.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting, and I think one of the things that I take away from sort of that prompting side is if you think about what's going to happen over the next couple of years is we're going to get lots and lots of agents developed, right, that do very domain-specific skills. So think of them, I guess, technically as kind of the counterpart to microservices, right? Where if you're a technologist, you build a microservice to do a function. We're going to get hundreds and thousands of these developed on ChatGPT, on other large language models as well. And actually we'll be selecting these different agents is going to be quite important for us as well. So anyway, that was just a reflection on that. Just in terms of where we're going, this is a slide actually that was created by Microsoft, who we've worked with on our Gen AI program, just in terms of what they're seeing across the world is an enormous amount of activity. And this old quote which was attributed to Bill Gates, I don't know whether it was him or not, is always the case with all technology, which is there's bound to be a backlash on generative AI because there's a bit of a hype around at the moment, right? But see through that, because this technology is going to change the game, and where we're going to be in probably, I don't think it'll be 10 years, in 3 or 4 years, I think it's going to be very, very different from where we are now. And Microsoft is seeing activity from nearly all insurers. Tons and tons of ideas are being generated. And then that primary challenge is to move from research to experiment and then start scaling as well. And there's a challenge there for insurers, which is you can't do everything in one go. So choosing the functions and features that you want to focus on first is really, really important as well. Comments around talent, comments around velocity and how fast this is actually moving. And when we started developing, and we'll share very briefly some case studies, we started building case studies. We've got a library of about 30 odd so far. We were quite surprised at how willing insurers are to share and how much activity is going on as well. So it really is quite real, I think, what we're seeing. And this diagram kind of gets to a conceptualization if you're sort of starting how you might develop your Gen AI capabilities. And this first wave, and there's lots of use cases emerging around this, is actually about using Gen AI inside the organization. So building your employee FAQs, building the kind of thing that Yannick was talking about, but deploying it internally first, and then moving on to a second wave where you start actually releasing that to your customers as well. And insurers are already, some are already at wave 2 in terms of their thinking. And then wave 3 is really where we'll start to see innovation at the product and proposition level, where we're really saying, okay, how do we use generative AI to completely maybe reinvent the advisory process, or not reinvent, but enhance the advisory process. That for me would be an example of wave 3. And I don't think we're quite seeing much at wave 3 just at the moment, but I think it's inevitable that we will get there as well. Do you want to go through this one briefly?
Yeah, sure. So as always, when you manage your target operating model, you're looking at a multiple dimension. So we spoke a lot about people, upskilling, engaging, investing into the skill sets. So not only you need to upskill your existing talents, but you also benefit from bringing AI, Gen AI, data engineer from other industry that have maybe more maturity into your organization. to basically make it happen at scale. Then the process, and this is what we said, internally, a lot of insurers have worked on how do I better support my distribution channel? How do I better support my experts across the value chain to leverage this tool? And what will be, or what is today, the potential impact on the way we work, on the way we make decisions, and further automate this and look at some process that can be further automated or some that can be totally disrupted. And for that, you need to have to work on the technology stack that I showed a bit fast earlier. What are all the layers that you need from the Gen AI application to the hardware, but also on the side, what do you need in terms of vision, risk, people, and I forget the fourth one, but it will come later. Anyway.
Very good. All right. So let's move on and maybe just share some of these case studies. And we do have, we'll show you the format that we've got. So we've built like a case study format, which is quite detailed. We've got about 3 or 4 slides on each, and they sit within what we call the Gen AI library. As I said, we've got about 30 odd in total. But let's just talk through high level, just our key takeaways.
Yeah, sure. So we've selected 4 from the 30 plus that we have in our library, just to illustrate a bit what insurers are already doing today. And this is actually all public information. But we do deep dive analysis of what it is, what's the value, what does it mean, what's next. So that's how we formatted each use case. So the first one is from AXA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you. So AXA released quite quickly corporate GPT. So they use OpenAI GPT, but in their corporate environment. So Microsoft give them on the cloud, so the AXA cloud, a private GPT that they basically train with the AXA data, and then they democratize access, so all the employees have access to the tool. And this was quite a powerful way to work, if you remember, on the personal element of Gen AI. So giving secured access to every employee for them to prompt, like the kind of prompt that I was showing you, in a fully secured environment where you can share potentially more commercial and sensitive information than elsewhere.
Yeah, and I think AXA were probably first to announce this, but many insurers have also adopted the same sort of approach of creating a secure environment.
So 100,000 staff have access to it, and 35,000 use it every day. That's to show you the power of this technology. I don't know that much technology that have this ratio of people using it every day, apart maybe your mailbox. But I do have a few ex-colleagues that never read their email. You need to WhatsApp them. Is it happening with your boss?
All right, well then, we'll click on.
Yeah, so if you want more detail, you can go on the AXA as well annual reports. They show all the AI initiative, Gen AI initiative. What I really like is they have a global team with the know-how how to innovate and the know-how around AI. But then they have a local execution of it because the local know the business, and they will basically leverage this tool with the support of the global governance and know-how to make it happen. And once a local tool works, then they analyze if it's worthwhile to globalize the solution. So that's a strategy that works for AXA.
Yeah. And we're also seeing quite a lot of activity around virtual assistants, right? That sort of wave two of making those assistants available. I'm not going to go through this one, but maybe you want to talk to the example of Jerry, because I know you quite like that.
Yeah, sure. Laco is a Croatian digital that deploy all of this on WhatsApp so that they are closer to the customer. So the customer can WhatsApp, the agent can WhatsApp, use Gen AI at the back.
Yeah, and actually we had an award winner at awards last year, which was Bajaj Allianz in India, and they've got about 3 million customers using WhatsApp. And if you think about it, it's quite a smart choice because that's where a lot of people are. So actually being able to access their own policy information after they've been credentialized. And then if you think about building the Gen AI layer on top of that WhatsApp capability, quite powerful, and that's what that is.
24/7, and it speaks all language. So in Switzerland, we have 4 official language, and we have many more on top. So all the chatbot in Switzerland, they speak all the language. I start in French, it will reply in French. Then I switch to English, it will reply to me in English. Then I mix everything, and it will count the number of words and reply in this language that have the highest number of words. So quite an intelligent tool. So Jerry launched Kelly Bota. Jerry is basically an American kind of motor insurance provider, kind of aggregator. Yeah? So it provides insurance to all their members all across US. And what I found really interesting is they were having this problem that about half of their customer inquiries were taking more than 24 hours to get just one reply or to be closed, which was too much. Yeah, for motor, usually it's not that complex. And therefore, they look at this problem, they say, how could generative AI help to basically close the inquiry much quicker? And it took them only 4 months to basically move from 55% that required 100 human interaction. They moved in a few months to 96% in 30 seconds. And only about 11% required a human. And that took them a few weeks. So that's really to show you the power of when you have the right team together, you can transform totally the way you serve the customer, the way you or the way you do certain tasks in your organization. That can bring some amazing result. 400% ROI on this project, improved customer employee satisfaction. So they basically get rid of this problem with Gen AI in a well managed way.
Yeah, and let's move just to the last example, actually, which we were. Oh, have I gone too far? No, this one on Hiscox, and do you like this example because we were talking about Lloyd's earlier, right? And so Lloyd's, had some chronic issues with technology over the years, right, in terms of being able to sort out some of its problems. A lot of those are people-related challenges, I suspect, as well. But actually, this example from Hiscox is a really interesting one. I won't go into the details, but essentially they'll be able to really transform the underwriting and quote process for very complex lines of business, because the simple ability to ingest all of that data from technical data and then actually summarize that, human in the loop, and do things so much more quickly. And it's quite interesting that the Hiscox CEO is sort of all over this, and there was an interesting quote which I want to get to on that as well, which was here, right? Sort of the potential to remove manual tasks from specialist underwriters, freeing them up to focus on more complex risks. I think this is going to be really interesting, and to be interesting to see if this is the catalyst that Lloyd's has been waiting for a long time, or is it another false dawn? I don't know, but it is interesting and worth studying that one as an example. So commercial insurance, which has been the hardest one to automate, perhaps is going to benefit most from generative AI, because just the complexity of commercial lines and that ability to ingest and summarize that data. So really, really useful. All right. We're going to wrap up because we've got 5 minutes left. I'll move off this one. It's just an example of lots of use cases. Just a very brief overview, kind of what we do, how we sort of make a living, how we sort of deliver our services. We do a lot around providing learning and development on digital insurance. And really, actually before we do that, if you'd like to give feedback, or you'd like to get in touch with us, or you want the deck, this is your last chance. Actually, no, not quite your last chance. We'll put it up at the end as well. But things are not working well here.
This was your last chance.
I don't really know where we're going. Right, hang on. Let me go back.
Back at the start.
Yeah, here we are. Right. Just when we set up the digital insurer, we wanted to help the industry to transform, right? And we realized early on, and it's in our logo, how important people are. We think these are the 3 key challenges that we all have, both individually and as organizations. We know we need to increase our digital skills. we know that we need to do more than just focus on the individual. We have to create a digital culture as well. And it's not the same just to skill up an individual as also creating that digital culture. And we're faced with a situation where, frankly, none of us can keep up to speed with the pace of technology, right? So we have to have things like learning to help give us a chance, right, to actually be ahead of others, to sort of stay abreast as far as we can with technological change. So we created TDI Academy to kind of do that. And we've been doing this for about 5 years. We've got programs around the world to do that. There's some information in the deck, and I don't want to go through it now because I don't really have a lot of time, but we have different programs. We've got like a mini MBA if people want to get really skilled up and can spare 100 hours over 7 months, or we've got enterprise deployment as well. But our latest program, and I guess why we're here today, is we're excited about generative AI, and we've created this Gen AI Explorer program with Microsoft. And we'd just like to sort of tell you a little bit about that. It's a collective experience we've designed for insurers to set a cohort internally through, so it can be customized to your particular circumstances as well. And maybe, Yannick, I'll hand over to you on this slide just to take it forward.
Well, we build the program across these two principles that we already presented earlier, that generative AI can not only help you be much more efficient in your role or in managing your team, but also across all the use case, bring value step by step, changing the way basically we make decisions, changing the way we automate the processes. And that's what we teach throughout the program. And also building with the feedback of the community, the 50 colleagues working together through the challenge, through the online session that we have together. At the end, we basically have some more tangible use case for them to work on. So we have two benefits. People know how to use the tool for their own benefit, personal use. And then the company, after this 15 hours of content and this workshop, have basically a lot to think about and some tangible use case to work on with the 50 colleagues that have been trained.
We'll just play.
We have the video to summarize all what's provided throughout the program.
Yeah, so we'll just do this in 60 seconds.
If it works. Yes.
The Gen AI Explorer program is brought to you by TDI in partnership and collaboration with Microsoft. It is a collective learning experience with up to 50 of your colleagues. The program has two goals: to help you to personally use these new tools for business, and also to help you and your colleagues to explore together how your company can use them. You complete the program in 15 hours over 10 weeks, and it has two key components: 6 on-demand video-based lessons, each 1 hour long, which are reinforced with 3 live and interactive virtual events. You take the lessons in your own time, whilst the live events are done collectively with your colleagues. You will also access a unique Gen AI library of case studies, as well as share insights and program challenges in the private community. We provide access for 12 months so you can get the latest update. When you are done, you will earn your Gen AI Explorer Program Cert and shareable badge. Enjoy the program and use it to help you and your company make the most of this digital age.
So I think we'll probably end on that note, actually, and just if you're interested in this program, just let us know. We're very, very committed at TDI to helping organizations make the most out of technology. We really do think that generative AI is something everyone needs to look at closely. We hope that this is the right program at the right time. We're very pleased to have that partnership with Microsoft. It's given us new perspectives because they have quite a good global view of what's going on. So it's really helped to inform the case study side. And we have Microsoft have done quite a few of the videos, as has Yannick as well. So we're 3:31, so we're just about on time on the revised time. And thank you very much for your time. And sorry we started late and we also had to end a little bit earlier, but sometimes maybe doing it a little bit quicker is better. And do just get the deck if you want to, and I'll just put that up there as well, and just reach out to us as well.
Now this is your last chance.
But we'll leave it up there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.